excellent place for a pub.
Yeah, really, what, students?
Yeah.
For a start.
Yeah. Would have
Is there
been
any
ideal.
pubs close by?
Only across into the town centre and marketplace. But it was one nice thing. But we enjoyed every minute we were in there, didn't we, Suzanne? Yeah. That's the only thing we miss about it, is the crack.
There was a good crowd.
Oh, yeah, good crowd. It was, I had a unique pub, because in the bar, I had lorry drivers and local car dealers and people like that, and in the lounge I had the gay community.
Really?
Yeah.
How come?
Because that was a safe place to be, wasn't it? Let's be right. And, there was no problem for them at all.
Well, out of town type thing, you mean?
Well, it was out of the town centre, so they always were there for a long, long time, the gay community.
Fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
It'd always been a pub, hadn't it?
They'd been there for years and years and years before I took it and bought it.
What was it called?
Yeah. The Old Crown.
The Old Crown. So you didn't, I mean, most people who run pubs go as a hell of a life. Glad I'm out of it. You're not that type, are you?
I wouldn't have one now. I wouldn't have a public house now with the way things are. They're all theme pubs. And we preferred having a bar that were a bar, darts, dominoes, pool, and crack. Now you haven't got these theme pubs. You haven't got time. You walk in, they take your money, you sit down, and that's about it. They want you out again then, so somebody else can come in. So that's what we did. We preferred to. We won a few awards from camera because we served real ale all the time. I didn't put that chemical beer in.
Yeah.
So
you weren't, what's the word, tied to a brewery, really?
I was when I first went in, because it was a tenanted house. But when Bass had to sell they had to sell 1,000 pubs in the year 2000, if you remember. That came up for sale. And so they charged me an exorbitant price for my own goodwill, which I'd built up, but I bought it. And that's how it went, But
And was it easy to sell?
was it easy to sell? I don't know, the bank sold it. I just said, you better sell this, I've had enough, I can't hack any more in here.
Yeah.
I worked it out one day that me and her were working for less per hour than the staff we were paying. So hours we were putting in. So we said, that's it, we've had enough. Plus it made Suzanne ill, she became quite ill with it. She got a debilitating disease that's going to get worse and worse, it's never going to get any better. So we said, time to come out, and that's what we did. We regret losing all the people that we met, because they were all, classed them all as friends. With us, not just because it was a pub,
Yeah. Well, I can imagine it, to be honest with you.
It was a good pub.
It was interesting.
Yeah, well.
Yeah, I think you are.
Yeah, we've been called worse.
So you were down the pit in 60.
Yeah.
And I remember you telling...
I joined the pit in I left school in 1958, on a Friday, and on Monday I was working on pit top at Barnborough. My father...
And what did you do on pit top?
I was waiting to go and do my basic training. So the moment you went and did your basic training, you came back to the colliery and you didn't go down the mine until you were 16. That was the age you could go down the pit.
Right, so you were 15.
So 15 I worked on pit top. And I worked in an electric shop where all electricians worked then. And I thought then it were a good job.
So you did that, and then you went and did the ponies?
And then I went underground. Not first of all I didn't do ponies, no. I went on general haulage first of all. I've told you that's how I lost the end of my finger.
Oh, yeah.
I worked.
Shot of that.
I work
I'm going to photograph your hand.
I was working in pit bottom on what they call the tippler. And at Barnborough they used to ram 2 tubs onto chair. Onto tippler. Tip it, and the coal used to come out and drop down into skip at the bottom of the chair, and then as the ramp next to it rammed the empty 2 tubs out. But sometimes he used to come uncoupled. Well, we had a doggy or a puffler, whichever you want to call him, who was foreman at pit bottom haulage, he were a bit of a, shall we say, disciplinarian.
Yeah.
And if them tubs came on top of coupled and you didn't couple them back up and they went down inclined to the bottom, he used to come up and maybe give a cuff right to your hole if you're only a young lad, or give a telling off if you're as big as him. And yeah, and so you used to make sure you coupled them. Well, I just got under tubs to couple, trying to do it the safe way, and the guy on the tippler rammed another set of tubs through and they bashed into them, and the hook caught the end of my finger and ripped it off. Which then they didn't send me out at pit straight away because they were winding cold, so I had to wait while snap time. So they sat me at pit bottom waiting while snap time. The deputy gave me a cup of his tea out of his flask, and then they sent me out at pit to ambulance room, who promptly took me to hospital, and they took bone out at the end of my finger. And of course I had a claim, and I got £80 for that.
Really?
For end of my finger, yeah. They paid me £80 and that bought me my first motorbike. I went to Barnsley as soon as I got it. I gave my mum, I think I gave them half or maybe a little bit less than half, and I went to a motorbike shop in Barnsley and bought myself a 250 BSA.
How old were you?
I was 16. And that's what started me with motorbikes, and I've still got them. I still ride them.
What have you got now?
I've got 6 motorcycles
Really?
and that, yeah.
Are they all old or?
There's none of them new, put it that way. I've got a 1953 BSA 250 C10. I've got...
That's not the one you bought when you were 16?
No, that was a C12. This one was older. This one's older than that one. That was a C12. And I've got 2 Suzuki GSS sports bikes. I have a 250 Honda Super Dream.
Wow.
I have a GL 500 Honda Silver Wing, and I have a 1200 GL Honda Trike.
Oh wow.
Which,
Do you go on them?
Yeah.
You're a passenger?
I can't get out with harder. Are you joking?
Really?
No, she likes it. Yeah. So,
Fantastic.
you know,
Ends of the earth, we didn't want to buy it.
Really?
Car ends.
she don't like me driving the car. But she don't mind a bike. No, it's, I think once you ride a motorcycle at a young age, you never lose it. You never want to lose it, you know. I used to race motorcycles, actually.
Did you?
Yeah. Me and a friend of mine used to race motorbike and sidecars
Wow.
before we went to Merchant Navy.
Hang on a minute, I'm trying to work it out. Merchant Navy, then there you were in the mine.
I went into the mines. I did a couple of years on haulage.
Yeah.
At 18, I got my apprenticeship.
Yeah.
I finished my apprenticeship after 4.5 years.
Fingerless.
With that finger off, yeah. I did a year as when I came out of it, 9 months to a year as an electrician, and then with my qualifications, I went into the Merchant Navy as
Right.
an engineering officer.
An engineering officer.
Oh yeah. Oh yes.
So you were a man of...
I'm an officer and gentleman.
I've just swallowed some wax.
Good lad.
As a first.
That's the way to do it.
Excuse me.
Don't worry, it'll come out
But you
eventually.
made
It will.
now.
Oh my God.
You'll not need a pencil.
It was just the, it was
Just a picture of me in gold bread, wasn't it? I know what it was.
that scrambled egg on your arm.
Yeah, I know it was. I know what it was.
Good God. I really
Yeah.
have swallowed a bit of wax. That's
Yeah.
terrible.
It's all right. It could have been a fly if it had been summer.
Well, Joan would have been very angry.
She'd have probably given you some castor oil to get rid of it back. But, yeah, probably the best job I ever had in my life,
Yeah.
you know. See the world and getting paid for it.
So where did you get to then?
Australia, New
Wow.
Zealand,
Bloody
North
hell.
America, South America.
It was the real deal then.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. We were away at 6 months at a time.
Did you know Suzanne then?
No,
No, unfortunately.
I didn't meet Suzanne. Suzanne and I have been married 25 years this year. We're both second time round.
Right.
I only came ashore basically because my first wife was fed up with me being away,
Yeah, it's always understandable, isn't
you
it?
know. So that's what happened.
So you came back, and then you went on the ponies.
No, when I came back, I went back to the coal mines as a chargeman electrician
Right.
at Brodsworth. And at Brodsworth, I was involved in the 72 strike in 1972. I became a union rep at Brodsworth. I did 12 years as a union rep at Brodsworth. I had a number of... I still kept my job as an electrician on the grounds of chargeman electrician. But most of my time was spent on union business at Brodsworth.
Really? And how does that work with wages and stuff? Do you just get paid by the NCB to be a union representative?
Paid, yeah. The coal were paid for it. And 72, I went to Sheffield University, extra union department to politics and economics.
Good God.
For 1 day a week. It's only 1 day. The union and the coal board paid for that.
Wow. Officer class.
Well, more or less, yes. We only used to wear gold braids, so you know where to sit at table. That's all we said about it. So. I used to spend most of my time in smoking kitchen out at Wave, because if you in the Merchant Navy, you used to have to get changed for every meal. So if you were in your white overalls from out at engine room, you had to go up, get showered, get changed for breakfast, go up, get showered, get changed for lunch, go up, get showered, get changed for dinner. Because we carried passengers as well, you see. So it was all that and that. But the thing was, if you didn't, if you were busy and you kept your whites and your overalls on, you could get a meal brought to you in working kitchen. And I used to do that as often as I could, but the old man got wise to it and said it's time you started coming into dinner. So I ended up having to do had to do the dinners. I was in a big collision. We had a huge collision in Bay of Biscay.
Really?
Mm. We nearly sunk a tanker.
Really?
Yeah.
What, your fault, was it?
No, it was their fault. It was their fault. We were slow ahead of us because it was thick fog. You probably won't believe this, but our ships didn't carry radar.
Wow.
Vesti wouldn't pay for radar. He only had it on 4 ships. Rest of his fleet didn't have radar. Wouldn't pay for it.
Vesti.
Lord Vesti. The guy that paid £4 tax 1 year.
Yeah.
You know.
Meat, big in meat, wasn't he?
Yeah, that's him.
Dewhurst.
He owned. Yeah, I've told you about that.
No, I just for some reason know that.
Well, he owned the ranches in Argentina that bred the cattle. He owned the abattoirs that killed the cattle. He owned the canning firm, Armour Star, that canned them. And also he owned the shipping company that brought all the meat back to this country. And he also owned the butcher shops, which was Humorous, that sold the meat. Now, I'll tell you a little story now then, okay? When I was 16, I had a friend called, I'll not mind his name being mentioned, Ian Pearson. And we were both bikers. Now, Ian was an apprentice butcher at Dewhurst. And in Dewhurst, in Goldthorpe, where we came from, they used to have outside their shop, they'd put a table outside with all the meats on it, all the fresh meat. And he put Ian outside one day, says, go outside, young'un, and drum some trade up. So he stood outside, he's Ian, and he's stood there and he's saying, ladies, come and look at here. He says, we sell meat you can eat. Make boil, buy or fry, makes your cough come, scratch your bum and shit balls of fire. Manager caught him, he went, come here. And he gave him his cards, he says, that's you done, son. Yeah, sacked him. So, yeah, that was Ian.
He was selling meat.
Yeah. He was selling meat. They were buying it off him. The thing was, they were coming in shop, you know. But I don't think it went down well with manager, so he says, that's you finished, son. So, where were I anyway?
You were in a collision in the Bay of Biscay.
All right, yeah.
Checked in.
And we hit this tanker, we were full away. They were full away in fog. And,
So it was a foggy.
It was pitch. Couldn't see hand in front of you.
What sort of speeds are we talking?
Oh, we'd be down to about 3 knots, 4 knots,
Right,
5 knots. They'd probably up to about 15, 16 knots.
Gosh.
And it come out at fog like a big block of flats. Because it had just offloaded in Spain. So it was empty, but it was full of gas. Oh, there's a lot of gas comes off crude oil. So they haven't degassed. So when he saw us, our kid on bridge gave him 3, which means all ships go to port.
Right.
But this kid their ship turned straight across our bow, didn't go away from us, and we just stuck into its front tanks, and it blew up. Boom. And as it went past us, we raked all the way down his side. His lifeboat came onto our quarter deck. He was on fire. We were on fire because we were carrying wool from Australia, and paint store were up there, so we were on fire at the front. Our Sparky got onto him and asked him, had he got any casualties, was he all right? They replied, no casualties whatsoever. Well, we'd already seen 3 blokes running down there, running bridge, that blew up and just disappeared. So we knew they'd got casualties. But it also told us that they'd also got radar, because he gave us our position straight away. He says, you are now 3 miles astern, blah, blah, blah. So we knew they had radar, so he must have seen us coming, even in fog, whereas we didn't know he was there because we didn't carry radar. And it turned out in the inquiry that our old man, our captain, he was exonerated, no problems whatsoever. And it turned out all they had on bridge were a student officer. All the rest had gone into their dinner because it was 7 o'clock at night. And the only one that were on bridge was this student, which they should never have been there. So but the thing was, it was a Panamanian registered tanker, so I don't know what happened. But the captain had nothing against his name as far as he was concerned. But that was one of them. 24 hours we were on fire by a biscuit.
I mean, are you really very frightened at this time?
Well, considering when we first trip, right, and stewards are all throwing blankets and food into lifeboats, and they said to you, your position's on, go down there onto generator flat, which is 3 decks down, under waterline. You know, wow. You could send me backside with rabbit nose in a little bit high. And the job for me was to keep the 2 generators on balance, so that the pumps
trusting they're not jumping ship up top.
Yeah, well, yes, that was it, you see. But,
so I suppose, you're talking in minds about the incredible camaraderie and getting the man behind you and trusting you.
Yeah.
When you're first on a boat and you're kind of however old you are, and you haven't built up any of that trust, and you are asked to go 3 decks down under the waterline while a ship is on fire, you don't know whether they're just saying, we'll jump and leave him, or, that is genuinely
well, I wouldn't say it was that. I wouldn't have expected them to leave me. But we would have been the last ones out, put it that way, because they'd have kept fighting fire until the bitter end if it hadn't, but they managed to put it out anyway. But what it did, it stove the whole of the bow in. And if you walked onto anchor deck, where anchors were, foredeck, if you looked down through the hatch, you could see the sea. The whole bow had gone underneath. So what they did, they took us into Falmouth, which is a deep water port down on Bottom Court in Cornwall, and they put us a big concrete patch on it.
Good Lord.
A big lump of concrete. And then they told us to go carry on through Channel to Flushing, which is in Belgium, to unload some gear there. Okay. So we that's what we did. Put this concrete patch on and we went there. But in the meantime, it was going to take 2 weeks. So in the Merchant Navy, if you hit you want a port in the UK, the crew can sign off and they have to put a new crew on. Okay? except they signed them all off, except me, and said, you're going to have to stop being an electrician because they're putting new anchor gear on it, and new anchors, etc., and we need you there to wire it up, to see that the wired all up right. So I had to have 2 weeks in Falmouth while they did that and put concrete patch on it, and they sent a fresh crew, and then we sailed to Flushing. But I had to stay with ship, everybody else had paid off. Apart from being probably first officer, I think he had to stop as well. Going through Channel, these all sound like tall stories, but they're not. Going through Channel, we hit some heavy weather, and then we got a distress call from a yacht.
Right.
So the old man said, right, heave to, put that yacht leeward side, get up to it, get the people off it, because they said they were sinking. So that's what we did. We took these lads off this yacht, 3 blokes, and one of them came up with an heaving line and tied it to rails on our ship, this yacht. So old man hadn't seen it to start with, and when we set off, he's leaning on Winget Bridge and he sees this thing outside. He says, what the hell you play? What's that doing there? And they said, oh, he's tied it on. So he says, well, untie it. He says, we're not dragging that through Channel. Wow. And so they untied it, and because it was in British waters, you see, they didn't want it there. And we said to lads, well, what's your problem like? He said it was sinking. He says, it is, but it's leaking. We, you know. I said, yeah, but what's your problem? He says, we've just been to Jersey, we've loaded up with brandy, cigarettes and God knows what else, and we were bringing them in, we aren't paying tax on them, because they bought them in Jersey, you see. And he says, so we hope it sinks, because we cast it adrift.
Really?
Yeah, so I don't know how it finished up that, but they came to Flushing with us, and all they got with them was what they were stood up in. They got no money, nothing, they didn't bring anything off the ship. So we had what they called a tarpaulin muster. We all chucked a couple of quid in or something like that, all crew, and got them some money, and we took them ashore with us in Flushing and got them pissed. And give them a good time, you know. When we got back to Britain, the first port of call was Hull, so we dropped them off at Hull. Don't know what happened to them after that. Not whether we were waiting for them or what, but that was all we had to do with it, you know.
So real-time smugglers?
Well, they were just part-timers. They were just some lads that had gone over for a few days in Jersey and were filled up with some brandy and you know, and they were just going to. It didn't happen, did it? They got into some heavy weather, and that were it for them. So you know, it was quite interesting.
Yeah. But down the pit, then.
Yeah.
What would you prefer? Life on the ocean wave? It's two opposites, isn't it? Really.
Yeah. Both very dangerous jobs.
Yeah. One's kind of really quite open, expansive, and
yeah.
And
I think
one's agoraphobic and one's claustrophobic.
Yeah, it is. I think if you're a miner, if you come from, I mean, I'm 4th generation mining stock, so it was stitched on what I was going to be.
And you're Yorkshire.
And I'm a Yorkshireman.
And how Yorkshire are you as far as Doncaster's concerned?
I'm Barnsley.
You're Barnsley.
I'm not a Doncastrian, I'm a Barnsleyite. I'm a tyke, basically. Yeah. But that's not specifically true, because I came slap bang halfway between Doncaster and Barnsley. Is Barnborough, basically. But I preferred Barnsley side to Doncaster side, for some reason or other.
Put you in half for Yorkshire.
If it says Yorkshire, if you cut me in half, yeah. As to which I prefer, health-wise, it'd be Merchant Navy.
Really?
But and there's a lot of comradeship in Merchant Navy, don't get me wrong. But for comradeship, it would be the coal mining industry.
The one you talk about the most is the pit.
Oh, yeah.
Is it?
Yes. Yeah, the one you talk about the most is the pit. He's always talking about it. You know, things that got up to down with it.
Oh, right.
I've heard more about the pit than I was about the Navy.
But is that because you're nearly still in that world and it's around you?
Possibly because I'm still surrounded with all ex-miners.
Do you mix with ex-miners?
Oh, yeah.
Is it a part of
Yeah, yeah.
You're not like it's not a rarity to see and chat and be with.
Not in Stainforth, I think, no. There's quite a lot of miners there.
No, I'm from Portsmouth.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, she's a southerner. We have a southern north divide in our house.
And mine.
You the same? Yeah. But I think,
I mean, I sound really Yorkshire because I've been up here for so many years. The minute I go back down in my family, and when I'm angry.
she's asked me if I want a cup of tea
No,
then.
when I'm angry.
My wife's from London.
Yeah.
My mum's from Portsmouth, actually.
Any further south they'll be speaking French, won't they? Excuse me, some lumps in that water.
You'll be alright, bit of cod liver oil.
Yeah, oh yeah. You'll be careful you don't swallow more of that.
I was married to a man before I was married to Keith. And the really weird thing was I'd been divorced for 14 years when I met Keith. And we met and we got talking, and we'd been out for a couple of dates and not knowing, that he'd been, I met him when he was in the pub, and not knowing that he'd been a minor. And then he asked me my last name, and I told him, and he said, I used to know somebody with that name. And turned out that my ex-husband trained with him as an electrician.
Yeah, we were apprentices together.
Yes,
Really?
and we never knew one another, never met one another. But it took it even weirder than that. I knew his brother.
Yeah, she knew my brother.
Yeah, his
Didn't
brother.
like him.
Didn't like him. Didn't like him with a passion.
She does now though.
Yeah, I
Get that in because if the televised and it's not to watch it.
He's 10 years younger than Keith.
Yeah.
And I know his brother, and he was I don't really didn't like him. I don't really do it, I didn't like him. And it was so comical. And I thought, he didn't remind me of something.
Me at all,
It
ever.
wasn't, and it turned out it was Tony who reminded me of Tony.
Mm.
And yeah, and I know Tony, and Tony knocks around with our sort of group. And like I said, been divorced for 14 years, moved away, everything, and then I met Keith away from everybody and all that. And we all knew the same people, we talked about the same people.
Yeah.
And you miss Keith. I mean, how do you miss Keith?
And
Well-
we never met. Well, we met what?
Believe it or not, I was very quiet.
Yeah, I can believe that.
Yeah, we had met once, hadn't we? Didn't realise.
Ah, yeah, I met her once when she was married to my mate.
And I was pregnant with my daughter at the time, 1974, striking, been talking to Jeff at the time, and I just got a wander up, but I made an impression on them. I got red hair, my own colour, natural down the back, and won't see me,
miss her.
forgot me, and he,
Like a lion.
Really?
That's what first attracted me to her. That and a couple of other things. Now, I'm going to tell you a story now. When we first met, me and her. Okay. Now this is truth. This.
you can't put this out for prosperity.
When I can, I'm never letting you forget it. I'll tell you. When she walked into my pub one night, that's where I first saw Suzanne. When she walked into my pub, and my divorce had just about come through, and I'd decided I was never going to get married again. I was going to be Jack the Lad, me. I'm going to play the field, being a young 40-year-old, whatever it was then. Okay. And she walked in, and I thought, oof,
I've been divorced
wow,
for 14 years.
wow, And I'd been on bevy then. It was late on. It was quite late when she walked in. I'd had a few drinks with some of my people that were in my bar, and I saw her, and I went across to her, and I sat beside her, and I'm talking to her, and I says, "Would you like to come upstairs and what did I say? See something?
Would you like to come upstairs with me?
With me, and being like I am." And she says, "Oh, you think you are?" So I slapped her on the knee. I went, "That'll do for me, lass." And it was about 6 months after that before we met again, wasn't it? And I rescued her then in a nightclub because she was, a bloke was, I thought she was not an old cow, but that's beside the point. I went into this nightclub, late on after we'd shut, and there's a guy there bothering her. So I could see this, so I just went up to him and I got him on shoulder and said, excuse me, will you put my wife down?
Really?
And he walked on. He said, oh, I'm sorry, mate, I didn't know your wife, blah, blah, blah. So then, luckily, we're still together after all this time, aren't we, bless her? So I must have been telling some truth, yeah. And now I'll tell you a proper story about her. Eh? I took her out one of the very early dates, and because we didn't want to cause any problems, bad feelings, when I took her out, we used to sneak through the back door at the pub rather than go through the pub, and didn't want everybody to know that we were coaching, sort of thing, you know. And so we went upstairs, we had something to eat, and I said to her, you want a drink? Well, I don't mind, I don't mind a whiskey. I said, oh, I said, I've got the very stuff here. And I had a bottle of Dimple whiskey, which is very difficult to get hold of, Dimple whiskey. I don't know whether you know this, but it's special reserve Dimple whiskey, difficult to get hold of. And I thought, here we go. So I'll give her a little tot of that, and I had a tot. Finished it before me, I thought, that's handy. Poured her another one, I had one. Finished it before me, I thought, this is handy. I thought, this is a knicker dropper if ever there was one, this.
God,
you know.
come on.
No, so I kept pouring her these whiskies, and I kept having one with her. I went, bottle were empty. She says, well, thank you very much, that was very nice. I think you should get me a taxi now. And I went, I can't believe this. And I've never let her forget that story. Ever, because I've never been able to get over another bottle of Dimple whiskey since, because you couldn't get hold of it then, and you can't get hold of it now.
I've looked for it in 30
And she
years.
drunk it all.
30 years since this
Really?
happened, and
30
I've
years.
managed to find the same whiskey.
Well, everybody out there in internet land, anyone got any Dimple whiskey, please bring it in. Doncaster, this is a call out.
Yeah, it's true that is a true story.
We could do with a glass.
Thank you very much. Can you get me a taxi? I thought, well, that's handy, isn't it? Eh? You know when you think you're stitched on?
I wouldn't know, Keith. I've never been there.
I don't
mate.
believe you.
No,
But anyway, I don't believe you.
I haven't got the balls that you've got, put it that way.
I'm not sure I've got any these days. But yeah, I've never forgiven her. Ever. Never. Yeah.
Well, I think it shows a wonderful strength of character.
So do I.
Great self-discipline.
I don't know how I control myself to tell you
You're
the truth.
irresistible. You're irresistible.
I am after about half a pint of Dimple whiskey. I can't believe she did it to me.
It's called Dimple whiskey.
Yeah,
It could have been something
Yeah,
quite exciting.
yeah, it could, aye.
Dimple.
Yeah.
Whiskey.
But it's because the bottle's a dimple shape, you see. There's dimples in the bottle. It's a beautiful bottle. I think I've still got the empty bottle. I keep getting it out now and again and reminding her.
You lament.
Yeah, so look at this.
You should frame it.
Yeah.
Smash in case of emergency.
If it were full, I would.
Over my head.
Yeah. No, it was terrible, that was.
Was it a nice whiskey?
It was beautiful whiskey. It's absolutely unbelievable whiskey.
Where's it from then?
It's Grant's.
The Grant's whiskey.
Grant's dimple.
It's quite nice.
Quite nice. It didn't touch sides with you. But I couldn't believe she did it to me, that. But then again, it stood me in good stead. We still ended up getting married, didn't we, love?
Yeah.
And your self-discipline is
Yeah, she knew a good thing when she saw one.
an empty bottle of Dimple whiskey once you... Fantastic.
Yeah, bless her. Not to worry. We were okay, weren't we?
Yeah. I keep saying it's third time lucky for me. Keep reminding me.
What do you want to talk about next, politics?
Well, oh no, God no. Stop that. Stop the tape.
Okay.
I want to hear about that. There's one lovely story and I really need it recorded. I loved your horse racing story.
Oh, the horse, the pony, you mean
under
the pony derby?
Yeah, the pony derby
Oh, yeah.
with the hosier and the paintbrush.
Oh, yeah.
Come on, Keith.
Well, as I told you before, when I was 16 and I'd worked my way on the haulage and I got injured, so when I went back to the pit, they put me on to pony driving. And I had a pony that was basically an horse. It was most of the ponies were small things. This thing was head and shoulders or so many hands bigger than a normal pony. And when they take a pony down pit, they geld them, okay? But when they gelded Twig, they only managed to get one of his goalies. They didn't get them both, so he'd still got one. So he was quite a frisky horse and pony, and quite a strong pony. And this same pony, by the way, used to like a pinch of snuff. Now, when I first went into the stable, Arthur Green, who was hostler, says, "That's your pony, they'll." And I thought, well, that's a big one. Anyway, he says, I'm limmering him up, and he says, "Has he got any snuff?" Well, don't forget I'm 16. Why would I take snuff going on nearly 70? Why do I want snuff? No, I ain't got no snuff. He says, "Well, he'll not work way out a pinch of snuff." I said, "They're joking." He said, "No, I'm not." I thought, when you're that age, you think everybody's trying to take a rise out of you, don't you?
Yeah.
So anyway, he put his hand up on top of girders, and he pulled an old tin of snuff down. He says, "Here, take that with you." And he showed me what to do. He says, "Put a pinch up back of your hand and stick it under his nostrils, and Os will take it." And sure enough, I gave him a pinch of snuff, and he was frisky as out after I'd given him that pinch of snuff. And it's a long story, this, by the way.
You've got plenty of time, Keith, got plenty of time.
The thing was, when you have a pony, you might be travelling 1.5 miles in a tailgate or a barrier gate in the return air, which is quite hot. And they're only supposed to pull 2 tubs of material at the back of them, no more than 2 tubs. And I thought I'll be smart here, because I've got quite a bit of material to take to cold face, props and rings and stuff like that to go at the cold face. I thought, I'm going to be smart here. I'll load all this lot into 3 tubs. There's 3 tubs full here. He'll pull 3. Easy as a big horse. So anyway, when a pony starts to pull, it starts to pull away, and the slack on the chains takes up, and the tubs go clink, clink, clink. Okay, because there's 3 tubs. Well, little known to me, this horse could count, because it went clink, clink, and went third when went clink, it stuck both feet in at front and stopped dead. He wouldn't go. He would not go at all, and I'm slapping his arse for him, and he still wouldn't go. He says, "I'm not going," he won't go. And so I thought, well, that's it must be right, Arthur, then. Anyway, you know, it's daft, this. Anyway, so I unloaded back tub, and I thought, I might be able to count, lad, but I don't know how heavy out it is. So I loaded back tub into other 2 tubs, so he got 3 tubs in 2, right? And he got some weight there, I'm telling you, he got some weight. And he went clink, clink, and it carried on. There were no third clink, so he carried on pulling. And I'll tell you what, he's britching, and by the time he got up to the face, which was about 1 mile and a bit away, he was out of breath. But he pulled them, he got them there, and we unloaded them, and I brought him back. And of course I gave him another pinch of snuff to bring him back, get his breath back for him. And I used to take stuff like tatey peelings or carrots and stuff down, and I'd give him some of them at snap, because we always had a snap up at the face. Give him some of them, and brought him back. Didn't have to go back up to cold face again then, so we used to go back to Paddy Road. Now, for them who don't know what a paddy is a locomotive or a means of transport that transports men in by from pit bottom to working areas. Then they all come out at a station, and what it travels down is called a paddy road. And so when at the end of shift, all the men come off the units that they've been working on, and they all climb onto the paddy, which then hauls them away back to pit bottom. Well, when you're a pony driver, you can't go up that paddy road until paddy has gone, because you couldn't get the pony out of the way of the locomotive if it were coming. So we had to always wait until paddy had gone, and we used to give him 15, 20 minutes start on us. And as pony drivers, we didn't get a lot of money at that age, but we used to have, on a Friday, we had what we call pony derby. And we all put a bob, 5 pence as it is now, a shilling, into kitty. And when there's about 12, if there's 12 ponies there, that was 12 bob. Depends how many units you've got. And what it was, basically, it was a race. First and back to pit bottom took the pot. Well, my pony, being a big pony, were quite fast, you know, and all, and so you all got on your ponies together, and you set off up this paddy road.
How wide is a paddy road then?
12 foot, 14
So,
foot, 12 to 14 foot.
So it's about as wide as that.
Yeah,
And how many horses are racing?
you could have 5, you could have 6, you could have 10, depends on how many districts were working the area you've come from, you know. Well, you didn't, well, don't forget you're 16, 17, you're indestructible, aren't you? You don't see any danger whatsoever. All you get told is keep your head lower than horse's head and you'll not get hurt. So you grab him round the neck and get over his mane and you put your head lower than his, because them ponies will not run, won't bang into anything. And don't forget they've been down pit all their lives, most of them, so they can't see in dark, but they can. If you've got a cap lamp, they've got a bit of a to see anyway. And of course, invariably I used to win. So
Did you have tactics? Did you have tactics? Did you have whips?
I didn't have to have a tactics, but in the end they all said, well, you're going to get handicapped, you're going to get to back for a start. We're all lining up at front. Your horse is going to back because he's too fast. So I had to start off at back, on back row. But I still won it a lot of times.
God's sakes, overtaking, wow.
Well, it's not to do with you, it's not to do with jockey. It's horse that does it. Don't forget they're wanting to get back for a drink and they wanted to get back for food. So that's all they know is letting me go here. Go on. So they're on the way.
And are we saying it's dark?
Of course it's dark. Aye. Have you ever been down a pit? You can't see at all.
Well, there's usually, spotlights and
Yeah, there are, but
candles on your horse's
you've
heads.
got everybody has a cap lamp,
Yeah.
okay, and it's on your helmet. It's as simple as that. And
So, 14 horses, 5 16-year-olds, or maybe some older guys,
not many.
16 lights,
Yeah,
and
all
they're just
all
going
going hellfire up this
in
paddy
pitch
road.
black.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And then by the way, it's against the law to ride ponies underground. Let me tell you that it's a finable offence. You could get sacked for it if you did it too many times. So the hostler at the time got fed up of it because they used to come into the pit bottom. They're all lathered up. They're all sweating. They'd all got to be rubbed down and cleaned and everything else. He didn't like it. So he says, I'm going to catch you buggers. I'm telling you now, I'm going to catch you. And we all thought, they're not, that's a slow Arthur, they'll never catch us. Anyway, well, this day we're having us ride. It's Friday, I'm at back, and it's a case of Paddy's gone. Ready, steady, go. And we let the ponies go, let these ponies go, and everybody's hanging on for grim death. And when we're all going to front, and I've got to front eventually. And
How long is the race?
Could be 2 miles.
2 miles.
Yeah. Could be 2 miles.
And is the ground...
It's full of sleepers and rocks and rails. Well, that's what a pit is.
I know what pit is. I mean, that's why I'm trying to want...
So you're going along, and Arthur decided we're going to catch us anyway. And inside of a paddy road, there is what they call manholes, which are a yard deep, 6 foot high, and a yard wide, so that if you're walking in paddy road and a paddy's coming, you can get out of way, you can get into this manhole, and paddy can pass quite safely. So that's what Arthur were doing, and he got himself a bucket of whitewash and a big whitewash brush, because everything is whitewashed in stables, and he stood there, and as we're all charging past, he's dipping brush in and going slop, slop, slop on every pony that passed him on his side of the track. Them on this side didn't get any paint on them, but them at this side got slapped with paint. And we've all got to pit bottom, we've all got the ponies into the stalls, we're all getting them watered and fed and rubbed down. And he come into the stables and he says, right now then, who's been riding? None of us, Arthur. What are you on about? we don't ride ponies. He says, you're all bloody liars, I know you are. And he went outside at pony, and because ponies they're only narrow stalls, and we're all on this side cleaning them. He says, and he went outside at ponies, and he looked at some, he says, whitewash, whitewash, whitewash. You whitewash on your trousers, look, you've all been riding. I was, I know, it's just because I was stood in that manhole half a mile back and I've slapped you all with paint. So he sent it, he got us fined, I think the fine is £0.50.
Really?
We all got fined £0.50. Well, I didn't mind because I'd just won 12 bob. So £0.50 I didn't mind, it were worth winning, you know what I mean, in them days. And that's what happened. But it did stop us riding, I've got to tell you that. It did stop us riding because, well, others weren't having it. Well, let's be right, my horse went outside of that, so either you don't ride or we're not having it. So that's what he did.
Fantastic.
And that were Arthur. And the same man, although he was a big, hard man, I've also seen him cry when he's had to put a pony down. Because if a pony gets injured in a mine, like it breaks its leg or it really gets hurt, and it's not dead, then they have to kill it. And you can't kill it with a gun. It's a humane killer. He loads it up on its head, hits it with an hammer, and it bang, and it goes into the brain and scrambles its brain. Then they have to break its legs to put it into a tub to take it out.
Crikey.
Yeah, well, it's not a nice thing. I've only ever seen it once with Arthur, and we had a little pony called Midge, and that was a tiny little pony. Beautiful little pony. And the guy that used to have it, he wasn't working that day, and it was lent to a market man who couldn't go out, get a job on face that day, so they put him on haulage. What's a market?
Man.
A market man is a collier. In those days it were all shoveled, let's not forget. I'm not talking about...
a collier is not a miner?
Yes, he is.
Oh, okay.
A collier is a man that works on the coal face with a shovel, shoveling coal onto a conveyor to get it off the coal face and cut in what they call the cut and blown days.
Yeah.
Okay, that's a collier.
I'm not trying to tell you your job.
I'm glad. That's a collier. Okay. Another collier is a boat that takes coal from Newcastle to London. Yeah. That's a collier as well. Okay. Yeah. But that's a collier who uses a shovel. Now, every collier had a district to work on, but sometimes you had more colliers than you had district jobs. So they were what they call market men.
District?
The coal district is a unit where they've got a coal face, and that's where these colliers work on a coal face. Okay. So say you've got 20 colliers on this coal face, and one's off. He's not working, he's poorly. It's a Monday, half of them aren't working on a Monday, collier's Monday. But the market men fill in for that job for him. Okay, so that's what a market man is. Well, if the market man can't get a job on coal face, they use him anywhere else in pit, either sat on a button operating a conveyor belt or putting him on haulage or anything like that. Well, this day this guy had been put on haulage and put him on pony driving. Hadn't driven a pony for probably 20 or 30 years since he was last on haulage. Okay, he got this little pony, and he was coming out from the coal face back to the end of the gate with empty tubs on, but he'd got 3 empty tubs on it, as daft as it sounds, and Midge were pulling these 3 empty tubs, not 2, 3. And when he got to a swilly, now a swilly is an incline, is a dip in road.
A swilly? A
swilly, that's what they call it, it's a swilly. So when you get to a swilly, don't forget a horse has got no brakes, so what you have to do is put a locker in the wheels. Now a locker is a long piece of wood or a piece of steel that you slam in between spokes, and it goes round and bangs up, and it stops that wheel turning.
Does it break the spokes?
Well, they have 5 steel ribs for spokes, okay? So that stops them wheels turning.
I thought this was before steel. I thought it wouldn't.
No, I'm not that bloody old. You know. And so this guy is supposed to lock these tubs up before this horse goes down the swilly. Because at bottom of the swilly...
How big's the swilly then? How long's the swilly?
Well, it can be say the route, you're coming down a face like that, and you go down like that, it's probably only about 5-6 yards,
Oh, right.
okay, but it can get away, and at bottom there's a flat, say, the horse can't britch back enough to hold them back, okay?
Yeah.
So the guy stood there with a locker, misses the first locker, misses the second locker, gets the third locker, but the horse can't hold these tubs because he's set off, he's going down this trolley because he's still pulling. He don't recognise it's going to be, he just pulls.
Jeez.
So the damn thing's pulling, and the thing's getting faster and faster at back of him, and he's trying to britch, trying to hold it back and can't hold it. Now there's some wooden doors at bottom, so he hits these wooden doors with these tubs at back of him, and a pit pony, when it's pulling, has, when you know an ordinary cart, it has wooden shafts, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Well, down in coal mine, they have steel shafts, the metal, and they come round and weigh a long bar off them that just fastens to first tub. Well, this guy hit, and they stick out in front of horse. Well, these hit the door first. One bent round and drove into horse's ribs, into his lungs, put him down. Couldn't get up. Of course, he's dying because it's stuck in him. They had to get some help. They couldn't get the help. They had to go back up to coal face because that's where the nearest phone was, because other phone were through air doors. They couldn't get to it because they couldn't shift the horse to get through the air doors. So they had to go back up to the coal face, get on phone to pit bottom. Pit bottom had to get out of Ostler. He had to come up the main gate, down the coal face, down the tailgate to where the accident had been. Saw a horse, knew he couldn't do nothing about it, had to put the horse down. Bump. Killed it with an inhumane killer. They then unlimbered everything because the horse was kicking all the time, don't forget, it don't know what's the matter. So they unlimbered this pony, pull everything back off him, unlimber him.
Limmer.
Yeah.
Unbridle him.
Yeah, take all them off him.
Limmer.
And they break his legs and put him into the first tram, because he's dead then anyway. They brought another pony up from pit bottom, who knows there's something wrong, and because they can smell death, by the way, these ponies don't like it. And so they brought another pony up from pit bottom, other side of air doors. They get him onto Trub, and they take this pony out by, take him to pit bottom, ride him, take him out of pit and give him to Knackerman. He comes and picks him up he went to a maggot farm actually, because next to where Barbara pit were a maggot farm for breeding maggots, so they just took him down there, and he helped a few fishermen catch a few fish after that, which is a sad story, and it's a sad end for a pony that's probably spent 12 years underground all his life and done no wrong, but this guy just didn't know what he was doing. And it's a shame because he was a lovely little pony.
So 1 hour. We're halfway through.
Only halfway. Well, you only heard half of my stories, so you're all right.
The horses were really held in high regard there, weren't they?
Oh, yeah.
All the stories we hear about horses.
They were we used to show them.
Yeah.
Well, every year, every pit had its own gala, or gala, whichever you want to call it, at the welfare. And at Barbara had theirs
Hey, how do you know that?
and they used to have what they called a coal queen.
Right.
They used to have a coal queen. All these pits selected a girl that they considered pretty enough to be a coal queen.
Hey,
She was coal queen for Barbara. Yeah.
before you knew him.
Oh, before we have ruined her since
Before
then.
the dimple whiskey.
Yeah, ruined her since then. And then we used to have, the ponies used to come out of the pit, and we used to, if you've got a good looking pony, you know what I mean, we used to...
No? I don't know what you mean, Keith.
Oh, well,
be honest.
you used to say to them, what's the long face all about, because you've got, if you got one that could smile, things like that. But a good looking pony, a small pony, like the one...
Move along.
The one I told you about, Midge, that got killed.
Yeah.
He was a show pony. That was a little show pony, because he used to win. He was brilliant because they had inter pit shows as well, and they'd brush him down. They'd put plumage onto them and really looked something like. So they were well thought of. And there are numbers and numbers of stories of ponies saving men's lives.
Really?
Yeah, yeah. Because you can be taking up. You see, what you've got to remember is when you're working in say a mile-long tunnel, and coal face is up there, when they're going forward with the coal face, there is what they call a pressure arch comes back. You're taking coal out, and you're moving forward. So back here, although you put a pack on in the corners with loose rock, all the way down that face, then you've got a roof with no support, and that has to fall. Well, and then you get what they call a pressure arch, which stretches from the coal face back down, say for about 20 or 30 yards, and that pressure, when you've got steel rings, it crushes them. So instead of having a perfect tunnel, you're probably ducking down, going round and trying to get. So what happens? It crushes that down. Yeah, then you have people that come along and dig the ground out so you can still get underneath it with a tub and a pony, so to speak. They're back rippers, as they call them, or they rip it out again. So you've all that to contend with. I've lost my train now.
You pit, pony, horse shows.
Oh, but so then we, as I said, we have these competitions, and pits had competitions. You had ambulance teams that used to compete against each other. You had colliery bands that competed against each other. It was a big. The mining community was second to none anywhere, because there was huge galas. Yeah, then they had your Yorkshire Gala when all pits did. You had your. I mean, you've probably heard it, Durham Gala. It's still on.
Yeah, yeah.
It's the biggest. It's unbelievable, Durham Gala.
Big floats, didn't they, Keith? They're big floats.
Oh yeah, terrific, big floats. You know, it was a way of life that, and a very dangerous way of life, but everybody knew about it, and you looked after everybody. It was as simple as that. Nobody. You had your arguments. Don't get me wrong. I mean, miners do argue and did argue with each other, but they didn't take it to work with them. You didn't. You relied on the guy next to you to look after you. If you were working. I deem myself lucky to have worked in both hand got coal in industry, and also worked in machine industry as well. Because I was, as an electrician, I was at the beginning of putting mechanisation into pits. So I worked on the first mechanised faces at Barbara, and I worked on the first mechanised faces.
That's an incredible position to be in, really.
So as an electrician, you have to do your coal face training. So that means that you can work on the coal face by yourself. Well, I did my coal face training with a shovel, with a collier. After me, they did coal face training with machines, but my coal face training was learning how to put a prop up and looking after my own back and shoveling coal onto a conveyor belt. And finding out really what it was like. And at Barbara, we used to have a system called, well, I'll make it polite, fill off and go home. Okay. In other words, if you'd got 9 yard of coal to shift, once you'd shifted that 9 yard and made it safe, you could leave the mine and get paid for a full shift. So the quicker you got it moved, the quicker you went home. Well, I worked with the guy that I did my coal training with. They used to call him Big John. I know it sounds, but that's what they called him, Big John. And he was a big man, and he was the chargeman on the unit, and he's the guy that did all the measuring. And he took the stint at the gate end, which was probably a little bit longer than the rest, because he also had a trainee to help him. And we used to get, if we were on afters, we'd go down at 12 o'clock, and we'd be out by 5. We'd be done and dusted. That was some going, because 9 yard of coal is a lot of coal, by the way.
Is that 9 yard?
9 yards long and
that's shoveling?
5 foot high. That's shoveling.
After it's been blasted.
What they do, they drill the coal face, they pack it with powder. The shot firer comes along. This is the previous shift. Fires it. It all rolls down. Sometimes you get great big lumps, sometimes you have small lumps.
And are you smashing the big lumps with a lump hammer?
Well, a good collier did, a bad collier would put it on conveyor belt and let it roll off in somebody else's stint.
really?
You know, and then that's where you used to get your arguments, because if you've nearly finished and somebody's put a big lump on and it's come off in your stint, then you've got to shift it. And you'd say, I know who sent that. They'd have in pit baths, when they're going out at pit, they'd probably have a set to. You know, that used to cause arguments, a lot of arguments, that.
It would, wouldn't it?
Well, yeah, because you're giving somebody else the work that you should have been doing. So yeah, it was an interesting time to get trained, actually.
Was it better electric? Was it better mechanised?
Well, yeah, because there wasn't as much hard work as such.
Was there? I mean,
it was still as dangerous, but
did you take pride in hard work in the sense of, was it fantastic to be physical? And
well, colliers took a pride in that. It was. They were very proud of being able to say, "Oh, at first off, I filled off first." You know, it was an inbuilt competition with them.
yeah,
But again, if they got a new lad on face, it wasn't true. Bloke next to him, if he filled off early, he'd say, "Come on, lad, I'll give you a hand," and he'd give him a hand to fill off.
Yeah.
Filling off, by the way, means to complete.
Yeah.
You know, give him a hand to fill off, and he'd set some props for him or something like that, because it's not just a shifted coal. You have to set props as well, so that the thing is safe for everybody else to travel through.
a lot of work.
It was severe, hard graft.
Are you
believe me.
getting? Because when I think you spoke before, and you were getting paid per wagon.
In the early days, it was paid per tub.
Top.
Yeah.
And if you're
it
getting
was called Motti system, that. But then again, that was a different system to the one I'm talking to you about, because you didn't have coal faces as such then. You had they used to work in stalls, as they called them in them days, so you'd probably have a family doing a stall, fathers, 2 or 3 sons, all doing a stall. If they had a young son, he'd probably be pony driver for them. You know what I mean? So you had a family that had a stall, and it was called a Motti system, and they had a disc with their number on it for their stall.
Called Motti, I suppose.
Motti, yeah, Motti. And what happened then was they'd fill the tubs. Now we're going back before nationalisation here. So they'd fill the tubs with coal, send it out at pit. Those tubs would then be weighed, and they get paid per tonne, how much that they'd filled, okay? But they had what they called a check weighman. Now you had 2 check weighmen. You had a company check weighman, and you had a union check weighman. Now the company check weighman is there basically to rob you. In other words, he'll have a tub ticked out, he'll say, well, that tub weighs half a tonne. That seems a bit heavy. Tip it out, and if you've got any rock in it, you say, well, that's not coal, that's rock. I'm knocking you so much off that, you're not having half a tonne for that tub, you're having 1/4 of a tonne. But union check weighman had come with there with him at the same time and said, just hang on a minute, what are you talking about? That's only 1 lump of rock, they're not knocking half a tonne off for that. And they negotiate and say, well, okay, you can have this or you can do that. So you had a company check weighman, and you had and that system was a pillar, what they call pillar and stall system.
Yeah, right.
And it was usually when they first opened the seam up in the old days, it spread out. It was like a sunburst, if you like. There's your shaft. You went out like that, then you have your pillar and stalls going off like that. And then eventually, once that system had worked out, when that system had worked out, you ended up driving a tunnel to go to a different part of the coal mine and start a pillar and stall system again. But then, and I don't know when it came in, then the coal faces came in, say a 40-yard or 30-yard or 50-yard long coal face, when they'd have a long coal face then, and that would be the cut and blown system. Okay, then with the units. Now when you got to mechanisation, those units those coal faces from being 50 yards long went to 200 yard long. 200 yards, easily 200 yards, because that machine could go up and down a lot quicker and take the coal off quicker.
Panzer.
No, the panzer's the chain that the coal went onto. the machines, the shearers. You had a shearer, which was a machine that had a big, you've probably seen them in the scrapyards, and had big discs on them with teeth on that was turning like that. And you could have what they called a double-ended shearer, which had a disc at one end and a disc at other end. And if you were in, where I'd worked in Broadsworth, we had 8 foot coal seams. And so you would have one disc up, one disc down. You'd probably cut 6 foot of coal and leave 2 foot in roof for support. Okay? And then you'd have a plough at the back of each disc, so that when the coal was cut, it hit this plough and it ploughed it straight onto the conveyor belt, onto the conveyor chain as it is in them days. And the reason it's called Panzer is because it's a German idea. It was a German chain.
Right.
And Panzer was their name for a tank or and the tracks, the Panzers. So that's why it was called Panzer. Deadly things, those.
Yeah.
And the machine used to haul itself up and down the coal face on a big, like an anchor chain, a great big chain like an anchor chain. And it'd have a sprocket drive on it, and it would haul itself up and down the coal face to cut the coal. And you'd have a machine driver, and you'd have what they called a cable man, who were probably 50 yards at back of him, looking after the loop of cable as it doubled over and the machine went down the face.
And then you had the whole thing is collapsed. I mean, I imagine.
Everything collapsed at back of you.
Yeah, so you've got this face that could be 200 yards long, wide,
Yeah.
and you've got that's for the sake, you've got a tunnel coming in. Yeah.
Yeah.
They're all coming in.
Intake tunnel
And an exit.
and a return tunnel.
So you've got a massive, great U shape.
Yeah.
And then you've got this wall. So you've got about, 10-foot space where the shearer is. And then you've got these props behind that. And then you lower the props and the whole back comes down. So you've got a corridor at the face. The face is basically a corridor.
Oh, yeah. Yep. They're called chocks, by the way, not props.
Sorry.
You'd have, when they first came out, there was they were just 5-leg chocks. In other words, one at the front with a canopy and 4 at the back with what used to go up and down like that. As the faces got bigger and the coal seams got thicker, you got heavier duty props. I mean, by the time they'd finished, in some of these 6-foot and 8-foot faces, you could walk down them stood up.
Gosh.
You could walk down them stood up. There were good faces to work on. And you had what they called chockmen, who had a stint, like the old colliers had stints. These chockmen had stints. And they would lower, when the machine's gone past, and they decided they were going to, it's time to ram the Panzer over, okay, they would ram it over. There's a ram used to ram it over, because it's a flexible chain like that. So they'd ram that over, they'd lower the chock down, just bring it off the roof, then they'd pull it across, because it used to pull itself across on the Panzer, and then they'd blow it back up again, I say, so then it would leave a gap. So where it's moved 6 foot, okay, then you've left an area there 6 foot without support. Well, some days, or sometimes it used to go weeks before it dropped. So you could look back in the gob, as they called it, or gulf, depends where you come from. In Yorkshire, it's a gob. You could shine your light in the gob.
Which is the hole left behind the chocks.
Which is the hole that's left.
Which has moved forward.
That's right.
Waiting.
And it'd go back. You could see it'd slope down, and you'd see 100 yards back sometimes before it'd drop. But when it did drop, it used to go woof, and it would blow. If you're on the face at the time, it would pick you up and blow you over. The air coming out of it would blow you onto chain or over chain.
So isn't that kind of stressful? Isn't it? When you know that's not dropped and you're working away.
Yeah.
Waiting.
Yeah, people will say, gob's not dropped, gob's not dropped, gob's not dropped. You know, be careful, be careful. And but there's nothing you could do about it. But luckily, it wasn't a full-time job, that. Most of the time, it dropped after about 10 yards, it'd drop.
Oh, right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But in those days, sometimes, as I said, it didn't drop, and it went days and days and days. And when it did drop, it blew air out. And you could always tell. And if you're in return gate, it'd blown air out and it'd knock you off your feet sometimes, you know.
And the material that's dropping is not, obviously not coal, because all the coals come out of the
It's
sea.
rock.
It's rock.
Rock.
And what happens 100 feet up when that's dropped?
Well, you've got your natural strata that doesn't, it'll drop and drop, but you have, because we're Brosworth was 1,200 feet, if not more, underground, okay? So, it's like anything else. All geological conditions have got different stratas, haven't they? We're cutting through a strata that was coal and probably it was mud then, that's gone hard and made a slate, a slurry type thing.
Laminate type.
Yeah, so it's like that. So you would eventually get to a place higher up, probably 300 feet higher or even higher than that, that would support, and you wouldn't be able to, you know, because there are places, if you think about it, where they mine iron ore, they don't use props, anything, because they just take it out and the strata holds up on its own. So if you've got that above you, then it would drop until then, and then after that it wouldn't drop anymore. Or you could have a system where you haven't got any of that, and all of a sudden at the surface you've got a house built on somewhere and it's gone and it's cracked and it started to sink. Hence you get all that problem with subsidence. You know, it's a
So
strange...
the geologists, I mean, the mines must be employing incredible geologists who are working out all this.
No, it never bothered them. Never bothered them. You've got to remember, most of mines were sunk in 1900 to 1913. They couldn't care less whose house they'd done. There weren't that many houses, they weren't bothered about that. It were money. It were private enterprise. They didn't worry about anything like that. They weren't worried about your house falling in. Their house was built. The guy that owned the mine's got a big mansion house on top of a big mountain somewhere. He couldn't care less about your little place, would he? They never thought about that. No. It's only... say in the 50s and 60s where it started to come in that they've got a responsibility. When the National Coal Board came in, then the government had a responsibility then for any damage that they caused. Before that, the working man would have to take the landowner to court, and working man could never afford to do that anyway, could he?
No.
So that's why that happened.
Was the National Coal Board a good thing?
Yeah, excellent thing. All nationalisation's excellent.
Because Joan, she thought that the private mine was cared for their families, they were family men, so therefore the owners cared for the families and cared for the...
I think you've got that wrong. Are you sure she said that?
Well, it's recorded. We'll find out.
No, they didn't. They didn't. My coal owners... No, you just...
We worked here together.
I wish we'd have been here. Yeah.
It's very interesting though, isn't it?
Yeah. I don't know where she's getting her outlook from there, because coal owners took everything and gave nothing. The moment they nationalised the industry, it became a hell of a lot safer for us, because the unions then had the right. I mean, I was what they call a 123 inspector. That's section 123 of the Coal Mines Act allowed us as a trade union to inspect the mine and make sure it's safe. Okay? Before then, you didn't have that right. They didn't want a union, in fact, before then hardly. They had to fight to get unions. Okay? So the section 123 inspector had the same rights as an ordinary inspector, as a Queen's inspector. And what we did when we did an inspection, our report went straight to Mines and Quarries Inspector. So if there was something there that was totally out of order, and the union had been asking them about it and putting it right, and they hadn't done it, then we went and inspected it, put it in our report, and then Mines and Quarries Inspector we could request him to come to the pit, and you can lay odds before he came, that job was done. You know what I mean? So you still had the us and them situation, even under nationalisation. But at least if you've got a manager that had come up through ranks, as you can call it, a guy that had started off as a pony driver and took his tickets and become a manager, you had a much better chance of the pit being a safer pit. A much better chance. Because they are charged with the responsibility of keeping the pits for safe. But, yeah.
getting there slowly. You reckon over there?
No, it looks a bit like you.
There's always a bit of the artist in his pieces, I'm afraid. We are married now forever.
Yeah. It don't look like a turnip, that's right.
No, not yet.
Not
I haven't finished yet.
No, not look like a turnip. That's looking okay.
Oh, thank you.
Not, it's recognisable, isn't it? I mean,
It's getting that way.
you can tell it's someone, you know.
So it's a miner
Yeah.
with a bit of a hint of merchant navy in it.
Yeah.
Maybe a little electrician somewhere if I get the hair frazzled right.
That's why my hair's like this.
Oh, you had a shot there, Vicky.
Mm.
That's what?
Or his first shot.
Laurence.
Yeah, you did shock me.
Some water.
Thank you, that was very fine, that. I could talk another half hour now. It'd be better with a gin and tonic, but never mind. You can't have it all, can you?
You can't have it all.
Not on camera. Just been trying to get some dimple.
Ah, yeah, well, I'm afraid you bring the worst side of my wife out then if you did.
Or a better side, Keith, or a better side.
Not in my, not the way I look at it, not the way I look at it, brother.
I wouldn't bring the worst out in me. I'd go home.
Yeah, now you want a taxi and all.
Yeah, and I'd want to tell.
But yeah, if you were to ask me whether I missed the pub game more than the mining game, I think I'd be struggling to answer that question.
Really? Well, there's a commonality, I suppose, there's people. Well, I suppose it is in the merchant navy.
All three of the jobs I've ever done have been people
Social.
orientated, social type of thing, yeah, even though two of them were hard work. Well, mining was. My job in merchant navy, I wouldn't say it was hard work.
Could you say that was the pub business hard work?
Pub, well, yeah, pub was hard work. Even harder for Suzanne than me. Even harder than
And what was the hard thing about it? Was it hours?
hours for one, the jobs that she used to do. I mean, when we first started, and
I always said I didn't want anything to do with jobs for me. I didn't want anything to do with food. And I didn't want to clean up after other people.
you want to clean, you want to do food.
We became a hotel as well.
Oh my
As a pub. And I finished up cooking. And I finished up cleaning the hotel rooms. And changing the beds every day. And cooking the meals every day. And the breakfasts. And the evening meals. And then taking my white overall off at 9, putting my slap on. And coming back down until 2 o'clock in the morning. And then getting up at 5:30 and cooking the breakfasts. And having all ready.
But apart from that, she got a couple of days off a year.
You know, there's one occasion, and I've always remembered it, and it's a right silly thing, because one Monday I didn't come down one Monday night, and somebody said to me, where is she? She said, she's having the night off, she's ironing.
I said she got a night off, she's ironing. Well, I'm only telling the truth.
I couldn't believe he'd said it. Somebody else told me. You never believe what he said last night when you went down. I said, well, she's having a night off, she's ironing. But it was hard work.
It was.
It was hard work.
It was hard work, yeah.
And it made me ill in the end.
Right.
So we wrapped it in, didn't we, kid?
But we did have some fun.
Oh, yeah.
We did have some fun.
Yeah.
You've taken a lot of wax. I'm looking at my
The
stock.
time, listen, can I say something to you? The times I've heard that you won't believe.
I hadn't got enough wax when you started.
Well, I was joking, but...
You've got plenty there, you can do another 2 heads there.
Exactly, I've got 1, 2, 3, I've got 4 more to do.
Oh, well.
I did
I might have to melt you down.
ask you. I said,
No
have you got
problem.
enough wax for his head?
I might have to melt you down.
I don't worry,
It's not cheap stuff, you know.
isn't it?
No.
Well, I wouldn't like to make it down to candle fat.
Used to be beeswax, but...
It was
Yeah.
the nose that did it, Keith.
Yeah, now you can see it is.
Yeah.
Talking about, you see, you were chewing that stuff,
Yeah.
and I said to you, well, we used to chew candle wax, and you looked at me
Yeah.
in this as if you didn't believe me.
where were you using candle wax?
Well-
in the mine?
No,
As
when
a
I
kid?
was a kid.
When you were a kid?
Barbara Main, I was born 500 yards from Shaftside there, in a coal miner's cottage.
Right.
Okay.
What was that like? before we go on, what was this coal miner's cottage like?
Brilliant.
What was it?
It
Brick?
was yes, yeah. It was a terrace row of cottages.
Yeah.
Okay, split into sixes or sixes.
Mm.
3 bedrooms, and they'd had a bathroom put on end by the time I was born. They didn't have outside toilets; they were on end. I was born in my grandfather and grandmother's house. We lived further down, actually, as I remember. But after the war, there were a load of air raid shelters left around that colliery, and we used to play in them. Of course we did. We weren't supposed to. They used to have what we called a pit bobby, and he used to chase us off if he caught us, if he saw us, and if he caught us, he'd tell his dads and his mums. But there were no electricity in these air raid shelters, so what did we do? We used to get candles, didn't we? Well, the pit used to store sacks, Hessian sacks in the one that we used to break into and play in. And so we'd have candles down there. And, okay, chewing gum were around then, it had just come back, but don't forget sugar was on ration till 1954, okay?
Yeah.
So in the early 50s, you couldn't get chewing gum for love nor money. But we've seen it on films. You saw all American soldiers on films chewing this gum and all that. Oh, we fancy a bit of that. So let's try some candles. We used to chew candle wax, and we used to play at being American soldiers chewing candle wax. And what happened, I'm afraid, one day was that we left a candle burning in one of these air raid shelters, and it set fire to all sacks.
Holy moly.
Yeah. I mean, these air raid shelters were still as they were after the war. They've still got all the benches in them that were there for people to sit on. You know, they had 6 where the colliery was and 1 where these row houses was, so that people could, if the pit had been attacked by German bombers, they could go in this air raid shelter. And that's the one we set on fire, but we didn't mean to. It was just one of those things. But we still played in it after they put fire out. It was all right. We managed to get in.
So
there.
what was your parents, your dad was a miner, you were in miners' cottages,
Yeah.
your mother?
My mother, during the war, worked in munitions. After the war, when she got married to my father, in those days, wives didn't work.
Right.
The man worked. Now, my father was a fitter at Barnborough, originally,
Yeah.
but then he became an official,
And what's a fitter?
a mechanic.
Making machinery.
They'd be the ones that repaired the conveyor belts or repaired any machinery that wanted repairing, you know. So my dad was a fitter, and in those days they had what they called an Anderson slicer, which was like a big plough that used to slice the coal off in lumps. But it was they're forever breaking down because they couldn't really haul them down the face. They didn't have a strong enough to haul them down the face, so it didn't last very long, that. But my father was a fitter on that. But he became a colliery official. He became a shot firer, and then he became a deputy, and then he became a seam overman. So my father, my grandfather were colliery officials.
Right.
My great-grandfather, as far as I know, just were a collier. And, you know, so.
And do you have photographs of all this kind of history in your family? Or?
I haven't got photographs of my great-grandfather, no. In fact, I never knew him. I never knew him at all. And he's on my grandmother's side anyway. And they came from, Maltby, originally. They came from Maltby.
So, was it desired that you became a miner?
No, my father didn't want me to go down
want you
pits.
to be a miner.
But
And was that normal? Did everyone basically, no one wanted their kids to follow them on, really?
most miners didn't want the kids in pits, but everybody, they all went in pits because it were either, if you think about it, it was either travelling to Doncaster to go on to railways to work at the plant, or it was travel to Sheffield and Rotherham and work at steel mills. Whereas you've got a job on your doorstep 500 yards away, working in pits. So what are you going to do? Because don't forget, in the 50s, nobody had got that much transport, had they? You know, so you worked where you were, and that's what we did. So that's why I went to pits basically at the age of 15.
Did you like your dad?
Did I what?
Did you like your dad?
Yeah, but I didn't have him very long. He died at the age of 45.
Right, so you were...
He died in 1965. The year I first got married, my father died.
So how old were you?
I'd be 22 when my dad died. But my younger brother were only 11.
And was it a mining-related disease? Or
No, it was cancer. But I still think, personally, a lot of cancers were caused through what the guys were breathing and living in from working down a mine anyway. I think it's, you know, although he did smoke, so I can't say anything. It was lung cancer, so whether the smoking did it or not, I don't know. But there was nothing they could do for him.
How did your mother take it?
Very badly, really, very badly. My father, in those days they used to bring the X-ray machine to the collieries, and in June that year they discovered a lung on my father, a shadow on my father's lung. They then took him to an hospital which was Wathwood, which, funnily enough, I've ended up working at since. Really? But it was, in those days, it was a cancer hospital where they went and looked at him. They opened him up, couldn't do anything about it, sewed him back up, told my mother he hadn't got long to live. Probably be dead by Christmas. And so they said, just let him do it. He was back on his feet in 2 weeks' time, and yet they'd opened him up from neck to stomach and opened his ribs and everything, but he was back on his feet. And they said, let him do whatever he wants, because he's not going to make next year. But they never told my father. So he used to go, never altered his style, Friday and Saturday night he used to go to Sprockborough Club, fishing club, etc., etc. He'd have a drink. And one night in November, he came home from there and he drove Morris Minor straight through back at garage. He got out of the car, came home, went to bed and never got out of bed again. He stayed in bed because he was getting worse and worse. It eventually went to his head, blinded him, and he died away. He died on the 23rd of December, 1965. But I got married first time in October of that year, and he was at my wedding. He went to the wedding because it didn't happen until November, so he was at my wedding. But you could see he was in a lot of pain breathing. And as I said, I lost him then. So I can tell you a funny story about my father, if you want. My father was a fisherman. He used to love fishing.
All right.
Okay. And when I was about 4, or maybe 5, we went down, and I'm not sure what river it was, but me, my mother and my father went to this river, and he was going to go fishing. And so my mother said to him, take our Keith onto the boat with you, Dennis, because we were hiring a rowing boat to go fishing. He says, oh, he'll not want to go. Take him with you. I'm going to knit on bank here. I don't want to. I can't keep my eye on him. Aye, all right. So he takes me on this boat. And he rows down river to where my mum is, and he chucks this rock and rope on the side to anchor the boat, and he's fishing away there. And after about 20 minutes, I'm fed up, aren't I? Because I can't run around. I'm fed up. And I said, Dad, what? I want to go to my mum. I can't go to the mum. I'm fed up. I want to go to my mum. Sit there and be quiet. And I'm mithering him. So, and he says, right, okay. I can remember him shouting at me. He pulls this rock out of the river, rows boat, rams front of boat into the bank where my mother was. Bank's up here, and there's reeds and everything there. And he says, Mary, here. And he picks me up. And he's got me held in out like that. My mother's trying to get down bank to get hold of me. So as soon as she gets hold of me, he overbalances, goes straight into the river, head first, and he's stuck in reeds head first, and his feet are out of water.
Really?
Yeah, and he pushes himself up, eventually gets out, and he's got I can remember it to this day. He's got reeds and shite and all sorts all over his head.
Sounds like one of my sculptures.
Oh yeah, just like one of them. That's just like one, exactly. And he went crackers. He says, that's the last bloody time he's coming fishing with me. And he never took me again after that. Never once. I remember it to this day like it was yesterday. Poor old Dennis. Very good.
You couldn't do that.
No, you couldn't write it, I'll tell you now.
Repeat it.
No, you couldn't
If you
write it.
wrote it, it wouldn't be believable.
No, that's true, that. Tell you another little story about my dad. He was secretary at fishing club at Sprotborough. Okay. And they used to have these trips. And they'd hire a bus. Okay. And my dad, being secretary, used to sit at front, on front seat. You know these with sliding doors, these old buses. Yeah. Right, and they're going through Newark. And they're going to somewhere called Swine's Head, which is on River Lytham, I think. Right. And they come to traffic lights, and my dad rolls the door back, and he shouts to this bloke, "Swine's Head!" He says, he says, "Don't that call his Swine's Head, you humpty back and get us some." And what he wanted were directions to Swine's Head. But he didn't say, "Can you tell me how to get to Swine's Head?" He just shout, "Swine's Head!" Bloke took an offence. It was unbelievable. Yeah, them were the days, Tom lad. Anyway, so
Through there, didn't we?
we did, yeah, we went through it. This is where my dad got his name for note.
But you say every time we have to give you some laughter lines now.
Oh, it was good. Yeah.
3:15.
Was
Yeah.
that finished?
So,
3:30 we finished.
Oh, you've got another 15 minutes.
I'm not
yeah.
concentrating, come on.
I do mean, I'm not stopping you. You tell me to tell you some
Sitting there,
stories.
I really could do with a dimple. I'd be all right. I could just look. This is not working. You think I've got an easy life, you?
Well, it's better than working, isn't it?
Oh, give me a break. Crying out loud.
do you know what?
I
Everyone
haven't-
that's sat so far has just given me a brief. I've
I
loved
have nothing but...
Not a real job, is it? Let's be right.
Shut up.
it. The more complex I use is chewing gum.
No wonder you like to hear about mining. Don't swallow another lump, else you are going to get constipated.
It's not been constipated.
I've come to Doncaster and come back with constipation. It was a working trip.
Aye.
I've never seen it.
Oh dear, you'll not be going
I don't know if it flushes, it floats in there.
Yeah, you must push it round then, but you're all right. Don't block the toilet.
People's houses.
That and tomato seeds. Oh, I'm working on a very sensitive point.
Are you?
Be careful.
I'll cross my legs then. Oh, you're only doing my head though, aren't you?
Oh God! Right. Let's go. I've got a reputation to worry about. The problem is this stuff is going to last it'll be on the TV for years. It'll never go. It's like
Well, when you make one for me, then what are you going to make it out on? Go.
you're going to get a plaster.
A plaster.
Yeah. Unless you want to buy a bronze, it's up to you.
I can't afford a bronze.
You don't know how much
Can't you
it
make
is?
it out of that composite stuff?
No, I don't do that.
Mm.
I go bronze. I use kind of real materials, bronze or
Yeah,
plastic.
but plaster, if it falls, my nose will break off or something like that. Whereas composite stuff, it'll last for
I hope
centuries.
that your
It can
sculpture,
be a family heirloom.
lovingly crafted by me, will not fall.
6 children.
Yeah,
Well,
well,
you can
I don't
have-
want them falling out. Can you make 6? Because I don't want them falling out of it when I'm dead.
I'll give you one, but then you'll have to buy the other 5.
Oh.
So I looked you up on the internet. I worked it all out.
Ah, well, wait a second. Now you can do them with computers, mate.
Oh yeah, but
Yeah.
that'll cost more.
Not where I do
About
it.
5.
Not where I do it, kid.
They're a fight over it.
You might not want it.
Oh, no, we've got something to keep doing on.
Oh, sorry, I'm just trying to give you some laughter lines. I might like them.
Right, okay. You mean these where my face is folding in?
They're good. Those are. They've been great anchor points for a sculptor.
He's had them all his life.
I know, they're
Well,
good, aren't they? Did your dad have them?
Yeah.
I wonder where they come from, in the sense of,
My grandfather had them
are
as
you a
well.
Viking?
Yes,
Are you?
Mm.
Do you know that?
yes.
Have you looked? Do you?
Viking DNA, put it that way.
Have you had a test?
Not recently, only when I was in Merchant Navy. Oh, I'll tell you a story about
Oh, for God's sake.
I'll tell you a story about Merchant Navy. One of the funniest things I've ever seen in my life, okay?
Yeah.
We had ships that used to go to South America, what they called the A-boats, which were Argentina Star, Brazil Star, Paraguay Star, Uruguay Star, okay? The government built them for Vesti after the war, because Hitler had sunk most of his ships, because Vesti were a Jew anyway, you see. And so they built these ships for him after the war. And they used to carry 100 passengers, so they had to carry a doctor. Well, all these doctors that had just come out of the time used to think, oh, I'd like to go see South America, we'll sign on. Okay. Well, this trip, I got a doctor. Okay. And he was engaged to be married. But he thought, I'll go and see South America before I come home and get married. Okay. So he's never been to sea before, don't forget this. So everybody's been to sea. And the lady here is going to have to excuse some of my language, I'm afraid. And he says to us, he was asking us about what's it like in Montevideo, and I said, oh, it's great. I said, it's full of brothels. What do you mean it's full of brothels? I said, well, everywhere you go is a brothel, virtually. They're nearly all long game, all these girls that you meet. Oh, well, you won't let me do anything wrong, will you? And I'm cleaning this up. won't let me do anything wrong, will you? Because I'm getting married when I come back off this trip. Oh no, of course we won't. Well, of course, when somebody says that to you, what's the first thing you do?
Yeah, what's the first thing you do?
You know, we're going to get you into trouble, aren't we? You know. So anyway, we Montevideo comes up. We're going ashore. Can I come? Of course you can come, Doc. No problem at all. Now, don't forget what I've said. Don't let me get into trouble. I don't want a young lady or anything. That's okay. Of course, what do you drink when you're out there?
Dimple whiskey.
Yeah. Well, I would have done if I'd got any. It was rum and coke, isn't it? Oh, so we're getting rum and coke down his neck like it's going out of business. And you can see he's getting worse but wear. And of course, all the girls are there. Hi, Johnny, you okay? Yeah, fine, me, it's all right. Well, who's this? Oh, it's first tripper, Cherry Boy. Cherry Boy. Oh, you like Cherry Boys? Oh, yeah, right. No, he doesn't want anything to do with you. And then, of course, he's, hello, love, what's your name? You know. And she's talking to him. And anyway, time comes when we're going home, and he's disappeared. Where's Doc gone? No idea. Anyway, he comes back to the ship next morning. Taxi pulls up, he gets out at taxi, all dishevelled and everything, comes on board, he says, where are they? He's swearing, I'm not saying to him, but he's saying, where's them bastards, you know? And he's knocking on all our cabin doors. I want to talk to you, I want to talk to you. What's the matter? You said you weren't going to let me bag off. I says, you disappeared, we didn't have nothing to do with it, you just disappeared. It was your fault, you did. No, and he says, I'm getting married in 2 weeks' time when we get home. I says, oh, what are you going to do about that then? So I says, I want all you lot down at surgery now. So we get they all goes down to surgery with him, and he gets this hypodermic out, streptomycin, bend over, whack, straight into, boom, straight into his arse. Yeah, because not everybody can take penicillin, can they?
Oh, right.
You know, and if you've all been with one of these girls, you might have caught something, and it takes 2 weeks before it shows, doesn't it? You know what I mean?
I'm catching up.
It takes 2 weeks before it shows on your way home, so you're back in London before you've realised that you've got a little dose, if you like, okay? Okay, so he's giving it to all them, and he's really going to town and hurting them, you know. Then well, what about you, Doc? What do you mean? Well, you've had a woman, haven't you? Oh, God. So he's got this needle full. Well, if you've ever seen a man with his trousers round his ankles, right?
Sit down, I'm doing your point.
Wait a minute, and he's got his hypodermic going like that, and he's backing off it like that. You know what I mean? And somebody went at back of him, bang, and he knocked it straight into his ass. And that's the funniest thing I've ever seen. He's backing off like that. He couldn't do. Yeah, but anyway, he got married and everything seemed all right, you know. I never heard, because they never come back. They only ever did one trip, and they never did 2 trips, and it doctors, you know. So, you know, but that was quite funny.
God.
Sorry about that.
I just got to get that little bit of hair.
Have you? Well, you did. You did pick me. I didn't ask you to. You know, I mean, it's not my
Didn't
fault.
be this bad.
You'll be
I
all
said
right.
that.
She's been saying that for 25 years. Yes, I don't know. I don't have to some. Hey, going, lads, now I've heard enough. You're not coppers, are you? Because next time you might arrest me.
That's what I've always said, isn't it, Keith? I've never said no in my life, because
No.
I've always said make 'em laugh.
Yeah, make them laugh and they can't do it.
Yeah, I can do it while I'm laughing, but they can't.
No, you can do it while you're drying your fingernails. You, it don't bother you. I know.
Oh, I said that once, didn't I, at the bar?
You did, love.
I don't know what you're talking about.
No.
Like I said, we were returned at the bar, weren't we?
You what?
I bet you were, actually. I bet it was...
One at Gay lads once, come to the bar, and he's built like that, built like a stick, and he's talking to his friend, and his friend's saying, "Oh, you've got childbearing hips." And she stood at bar listening to
I
him,
had 4 children.
and she had 4 kids. She went, "Oi, these are childbearing hips." Then
They forget you there when you do them.
they forget you're there, you see, and they talk, "Oh, you've got childbearing hips." Childbearing hips, you're like a rake, you are.
Well, another time I put it quite big, because it was a bit, and he went across and says to me, "They're your own?" I didn't know they meant my nails, my eyelashes and my boobs.
Yeah, yeah.
What
they
did he mean?
they used to get very personal. He meant to
God's
move.
sake, this is a Tuesday afternoon.
Well, they thought I bought my bike.
See, the principal's just come in and going, "We didn't expect it to go this way. We're trying to advertise the college here."
That's only the direct.
I bought my wife, I
Fine.
bought my first wife a big pair once, you know.
A big what?
A big pair. She decided she wanted a big pair of boobs, so I bought them, and then she divorced me straight after. I never even got a touch, you know what I mean? She left me. Right. And then, of course, I took up with Suzanne, who's built like she is, of course. And that's what first question they asked her that. "Are they're your own?" "Well, yeah." "Well, I suppose your hair is and your fingernails then as well." She said, "Yeah, they are. Yeah, they are." And them lads are still good friends of ours, aren't they, love? Yeah, they are still good friends of ours. But yeah, it was quite funny.
Yeah, we went to a reunion.
Yeah, they had a reunion just before Christmas.
With all
A
the
year old crown reunion.
Really?
So I said, "Well, you can't have a reunion with our toes, can you?"
I said, "We're trying."
They were trying, very trying at times. But it was good. It was a good life, that one, it lasted. It was better working down a pit, put it that way.
I haven't laughed whilst making a sculpture, I don't think ever.
Have you not?
This is the first for me.
Oh dear, I do apologise.
Well, it might suffer in the end result.
Might it get me 2 heads instead of 1? Huh? Well, they reckon if you bulk buy, you get, buy 2, get 1 free.
My cheeks are really hurting from laughing.
Really?
Yeah.
Have you been laughing that much?
Yeah, I am. I love it.
Don't let that fall on the floor. And
We had one
flatten your
earlier.
nose.
I dropped the nurse.
Did you?
Just gonna find
Not
out
surprised with her attitude. I don't mean that if she's watching.
It is weird, isn't it? You don't know what's going on.
No, I'm not bothered me. Don't bother me. It has to be. That looks all right, that.
Oh, bless your heart.
Almost
Just
looks
want to get
real.
you a polo neck like it's going to garrot you, and then we're all right.
I can recognise you.
Yeah?
Can you?
Your polo neck's a good thing. It's a good framing device.
In fact,
That's what I need to work on.
Fantastic.
All
Oh,
right.
thank you. I'll show it to you properly in a minute. won't I? We're nearly there, aren't we, Dan?
2 minutes.
We've gone 10 minutes of it.
Okay, let's just give you a sizzle. We go 10 minutes over. Get sharp edge. Let's get it on the floor.
That's good. That.
You're a dapper man. You're dapper.
Mm.
A showman.
Is that the name? I've been called worse.
Have you got gypsy in you?
Have I got gypsy in me? No, but a gypsy once tell me that I was going to be, tell my mother she was going to have a son that's going to be into the church, but the gypsy were wrong. It were a grandson. My son, my son's a vicar, yeah.
Is he?
Or he was, he's now at Royal Marines as a vicar, but he was a vicar, yeah. He's ordained minister, ordained
She
vicar.
wasn't far off then. Was she reading
No,
palms?
she wasn't far off. No, she was reading palms.
Wow.
Mm. Or were it teacups, I'm not sure which. My mother were a big believer in that, you know.
Yeah.
Yes, she thought it was. But she weren't far off, was she?
Well, I think that's pretty good.
I think it must have helped when my lad used to go up to my mother's every weekend. So I think she had a bit to do with it. Anyway. She might have
Steered him in that direction.
She might have influenced him a little bit. I don't
So
know.
look, we've got a bet on. Come on.
Yeah. It wasn't bad, really, considering I wasn't a Christian at the time. I was a Marxist. So,
Wow.
considering I got all left-wing books on shelf and one Bible, and that's the only one he chose to read on my bookshelf. But when he was at university, he was quite versed in politics, so he knew what he was talking about. I think he was a red vicar by the time he'd done.
Great.
That was something we both had in common, wasn't it?
It was lovely.
Was there any Tories down the pit?
Tories? Only Princess Anne when she had a visit.
How did you know her politics?
Well, I can tell where she swore. You know to tell posh birds where they swear, can't you? They make swearing sound absolutely everyday language, don't they? Yeah, you know, so. Bless her.
Well, she came down.
Oh, she had a look round, yeah, she did. I'm trying to remember what at Brodsworth.
Was it at the time of the pit ponies?
No, it was time of mechanised faces. They made old men wear new shorts because when you were crawling up a face, you didn't want things dangling in front of you, did you? Know what I mean? So they made them all put brand new shorts on to go up face in front of them. It's true. Because, you never bought shorts, you used any old shorts you could before they started supplying them. And then, yeah, they can't go up face like that, lad, here, put them on. Okay.
This theme's developing. The pit nurse, Joan, she had to go to the rescue of someone who was up to his waist in coal after collapse.
Yeah,
And she forgot to put her knickers on.
yeah.
And she had to be dangled upside down
Yeah.
to deal with him. And all the blokes were above her. And she was praying there wasn't a split in her trousers.
That's right, yeah. I've read that in a book.
Could you?
Yeah, I remember it. Yeah.
It wasn't like that, we read a book
No, it wasn't, no.
last year, I think.
Yeah.
How are we doing, Dan? Has the countdown started?
1:30.
It's half past, you've gone through.
Couple more little sizzles.
Who have you got next then?
We got Mick Lanigan's. I've got a grandchild. I thought I'd better get.
Oh, Mick. Is Mick coming with him?
Yeah. So I thought if I get.
Well,
Mick,
Mick, bring him here, he's all right, Mick.
yeah.
Now you think I can talk? Wait while
Oh,
Mick
I-
starts.
There is a theme developing.
Yes.
Now Mick can talk, bless him.
So,
He's a good talker, is Mick.
Well, you're Stainsforth, aren't you?
I live in Stainforth.
Because I was at the Stainsforth. What is it? Central Club? What's the club?
Pit Club.
Pit Club.
He was in Pit Club.
oh, it
I was
might-
there in
He
the.
might go in Central as well.
It must be
The-
Central.
yeah.
That's Central.
On the corner, next
Yeah.
to the Rangers Bar.
Oh, that's Central, that's
Yeah.
Central, yeah.
We were there recording a song with Johnny Solo,
Yeah.
Joe Solo.
Joe
yeah.
Solo,
Yeah.
and I saw his grandson there,
Ah, right.
and I thought that's a good idea. Why don't I
Do him.
do him?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's-
Because I need to get as many kind of a variety of pit community, really.
Of course you do.
yeah,
You can't go wrong with Stainforth. You've got all there, mate.
Yeah.
Everybody in
You
Stainforth.
Stainforth?
Yeah, near Stainforth.
Yeah. Can't go wrong with Stainforth. That is a community.
Yeah.
Bar none. I'm also a Stainforth Town Councillor as well, by the way,
Oh, right.
We need more.
which I don't tell everybody all the time.
We need more miners coming forward, or people from that community.
Yes.
So if we gather your contact details, because what we're starting to do as well is we're creating portraits, so photographic portraits of
Well,
the community, everyone. So
if you talk to Mick when he comes up here, Lanigan, if he's with him,
Yeah.
we've got a meeting this Saturday of the DN7 group, which is miners group, okay, and there's a lot of lads there that all went through 84-5 strike. They're all good lads, and they, if you ask him to see if you can get some volunteers on Saturday to come and sort it, do this for you.
yeah.
Mick, because Mick's secretary, I think, of that group. I mean, I'm going to that meeting anyway. So if Mick's not here, I'll bring it up.
Great. Thank you.
The thing is, it's like we want the message to go out so that they know that we're celebrating the community. Do you know what I mean? We're not just taking advantage or doing something that's not to celebrate the community. So we want as many people involved as possible. And I said to Laurence, I'm more than happy to continue this project going and going and going.
If you go onto Facebook, right, and look for Hatfield Brigade,
I'm in the Hatfield Colliery group. I'm in groups that I don't
well, that's the Hatfield Brigade is that lot, and that's the DN7 lot, and you'll probably find, if you go up on that, you'll find all sorts of lads on there. Stick an advert on that if you want. They'll probably.
Joe Solo and the Hatfield Brigade.
Yeah, that's that lot. That's Mick Lanigan and all them that did the record, record for
Wonderful song.
In the
you know.
74 strike, I made bread, didn't I, Keith?
You did in 74.
74.
In the 74 strike, I made bread because I could bake bread. I made bread for miners, because I was a miner's wife then, and I was having my fourth child. Then she was born in March, and it was terrible. And somebody gave me a cot because I couldn't afford a cot because we've got no money. And because I could bake bread, they all fetched me their flour, and I made them the bread and gave them the bread, you know, ready-made. And I was a southerner, and they didn't like me up till then. They didn't talk to me.
I didn't know her then.
Because I
don't like to admit I
just
didn't know
moved
her then.
into the community, and that's when I married the electrician that was his, that he knew, that was his mate, but we didn't know him then, and, you know, and I just, like I said, I was this southerner that there was, and I moved into this mining community, and they were very wary about me because I sounded posh.
See, the same goes for Laurence. He's still having to earn his stripes up north.
I got no chance. I don't even think. There's no way. What are you talking about?
It was terrible, and they didn't speak to me, and I got this auburn hair that
One last
I
one.
just had to wash it
I
and leave
want to know
it.
how the scar came.
So
How did this come?
they,
when she
they
finished-
thought
when
I
she
was
went
always
through. Then you
It's
can
not
go.
a funny story.
you
It's
know,
not a funny
I was
story.
always- Don't know.
It's a
Even
bad
though
story.
I've got 3 children on my
We'll forget it
board,
then.
you know, they thought
You
I
know
was
what here
always
about it.
done up, which wasn't done.
The guy's still
And
alive.
I moved into this mining community, and then I just didn't fit.
A surgeon
And,
or an
then
enemy?
the
No, he was an enemy. I was attacked.
And of course I could bake bread. And I thought, oh, I've earned my stripes. I've earned, you know, they helped me. They got me a cot, and I baked bread for them, and everything. And when the strike was over, they didn't talk to me again.
That wasn't Stainforth though, that was Bolton on
That was
Dern.
Bolton on Dern, yeah. But they didn't talk to me again. A
Really?
few did. A few did. I did make a couple of friends.
It does take a long time to get into a mining community, you know.
It was,
To accept.
really, you know, strange. You know that it is a very tight-knit community.
It's all finding.
Yeah, it is very.
That's why we need them to realise that actually we're trying to produce a lasting legacy, do you know,
Yeah.
not taking advantage of
Yeah.
an event.
The thing is, I am from my stock. My dad and my granddad are from Harworth, outside Doncaster. My dad was in the Navy, and that's how I met my mum. My mum was from Portsmouth. And that's how my dad went in the Navy. and then he came out and everything went back into the mines. And my granddad was in the mines all his life, you see, but nobody ever got to know that side of me, you know. They just went by the accent, and unfortunately I still had my accent. I've only got rid of it while I've been with it.
Not too good.
No, I did round yours off. I've softened his accent a bit.
Only when I haven't been back to Barnsley.
Until he gets with all his mates and then he comes back.
Yes, Laurence.
I'm not moving anywhere. Well, I'm gilding the lily now.
Are you? I bet that takes some gilding.
I think we're done. I can finish off a bit more later on.
Does it need some more work, does it?
Yeah, I'll give it a bit of an over.
I'm not surprised.
We'll get the ultimate judgment.
Yes.
Has he caught me boyish looks?
Yes, I like that. Yes, I do like that.
Do I get a chance to have a look at it or not?
Yes.
Oh,
You have caught his essence.
yeah.
There's a width to the face, got that.
Like a death mask.
Well, this wax is not good, because it's very waxen, obviously, and it looks very pallid.
Yeah.
You're not very
Like all them that they, when they bung them all, they put them all on the shelf into one of them. It looks like a death mask to me.
Do you know under his chin, he's got a dimple in it. He's got a strong chin, you know. I very
Well, how do I know that?
No, I'm just saying.
You won't, because
I
it's
prefer him
hiding it
without that.
under me.
Because he's got a square chin and yeah. But,
I've got those things there.
yeah.
It doesn't look like me, is it?
No, just like
There you go, sir.
it.
So that's it. Mine.
I think his nose is a bit big.
But once you've lost the jaundice look, which is the
Yeah.
material, and it's in
Yeah.
bronze.
Yeah, I'm only joking.
Yeah.
Stay there.
Whoa.
No, don't go too close.
He wants to take a photograph of me and me second head.
Sorry, Danny.
Me and my second head.
Yeah.
Hang on.
Hey, hang on.
Yeah.
Which bird are you having? I don't like much to yours.
Like red dwarf.
I think you're close, look.
Like red dwarf.
Oh, that's not bad.
Nothing.
That's not bad.
I think that's
It's
quite.
not a bad shot.
I think that's quite
Put
good.
my glasses on.
What we could do, have a word with the council, see if we can get another
I think
sculpture.
Well, we've got to get this X-rated for a start.
I thought it was going out live. I wouldn't have told jokes if I hadn't known. I thought it was going out live.
That's very good.
Thank you anyway,
Oh,
Laurence.
no, thank you. That was brilliant.
It's been an experience.
It
I've never
has.
sat still as long in my life.
He hasn't. No, without tapping.
Where's all my stuff? Where's all my gear? Oh, it's over there. Is it? No.
No,
It's
it's.
hanging up.
Oh,
Let's
yeah.
get your photograph first.
Oh, yeah, we've got to get you
and,
photographed.
Oh, but
Well, both of you, both of you.
Do you need any reference pictures?
No, I think I'm going to decide not to do it. I was going to take photographs and finish them off at home, but I think you can't go any further.
Okay.
In a sense, you ruin it if you start. It's the experience. This is the experience, is what it's all about.
Brilliant.
Yeah, no, thank you so much.
Well, you too.
You've put years on me.
So you have put years on me, I'm holding off.
Shall we take a scope with us or?
We'll come back.
Oh, right, okay. I didn't know that.
Are you taking photographs of me as well?
Definitely.
Yeah.
Some more lipstick on then.
You can do. They are going black and white, so it's entirely up to you.
Oh, well, I want to know.
Don't have to patch it.
That was great.
At my age.
I've enjoyed it.
Yeah, that was
Quite
brilliant.
funny.
That was brilliant.
Extraordinary.